Good evening, Carolina. I'm Sam Candor.
And I'm Tyler Perrone. Hello and welcome to Show, It run by students like you.
We don't have big budget, smart word, or fancy set like other show, but we still funny and creative.
That's right. We want to make you laugh and have fun. College life weird, so we make fun of that. We talk about trends and maybe some smart stuff too.
Get ready for funny show.
Sorry about that, guys. We ran out of time this week to write a witty intro, so I hope you enjoyed the power of AI writing one for us.
That said, welcome to the first segment of the show, Diners, Dine-Ins, and Drafts, where Tyler and I are going to be looking at our top 5 campus restaurants in a draft style. Now, in order to decide who goes first, we're going to ask our audience to decide for us. So, audience, who do you think should go first?
Tyler, heads or tails?
Oh, absolutely tails. It never fails. Come on.
Hey Siri, heads or tails? It's heads.
What can I say? I'm just the best. And my number 1 pick for my draft, although it is no longer with us, I'm gonna have to pick the barbecue bus. A real classic, great deal for what you get. Sometimes they'll even forget what you order and give you more than what you ordered. And because of that, what we lost from Mr. Beast Burger will never be forgotten as my first pick.
I agree. It's really a shame, considering especially that those $17 burgers are not blessed by Mr. Beast himself.
Tragic.
I'm going to consult my scouting report that I did just for this case, because if I love doing anything in this life, it's beating the heck out of Sam Candor at anything. Seeing as how it's still on the board, because of course it is, it's the first round, I'm taking Global Cafe in Darla School of Business. Immaculate food, great service, nicest people on campus work in that little kitchen there. You can see them cooking. I love that. Good hibachi, even Subway type deal. Two very different sides of the spectrum. But I will say the only downside to this, I'd pick this in round number 0 if it didn't close at 4 p.m. every day.
True,
which,
true.
Is a
little
downside.
sad that
you
it
could
closes
exploit
early,
that.
but you know, that's why it's probably not my number 1 pick. I don't even know if I had it in my top 5, but for my number 2 pick, maybe a little underrated, I'm gonna say the Gamecock General Store. Now, that little store under the Russell House offers quite a few things. A mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some sushi, energy drinks that I've visited every time I have an exam. Truthfully, a little bit underrated as a little dine-in place on campus, but hey, it's got a lot to offer.
Good pick. Not on my radar because I wasn't quite considering it a restaurant, but I guess you're right. The one thing I would say with the Gamecock General is it is so overpriced. They gouge.
True.
They gouge
True.
you there. But I will say I had some Gamecock General sushi last night. Got me through the night. Consulting this again, it's still on the board. I got to take the prized possession of the Russell House eateries, and that is Fresh Greens. Come on. It's good. You talk about sushi? Fresh Greens all the way. Pizza, best pizza on campus. I'd say best cold sandwiches too. And the ice cream machine always works.
It does always work, and you know, Tyler, I think that's the first steal of the night. That was on my list, but for my number 3 pick, I'm gonna have to go with Twisted Taco. For what you pay and what you get, hey man, it has recently risen above all of, in terms of the fast food on campus, come on.
So you're
Better than Chick-fil-A.
You're not going to mention the roach and the chips a couple weeks ago.
Hey, I only started eating it today, so it blew me away. Rising to my number 3 pick because I had Fresh Greens, and I can't think of anything else.
Well, let me tell you what, guys. I'm staying in the Russell House, taking, other than Fresh Greens, in my opinion, the best all-access buffet-style dining hall on campus. Give me Gamecock Park!
Very fair.
Give me GCP.
Very fair.
The salad bar, immaculate. Don't get me started on the pizza, the pasta. And let me tell you what, the little convertible, like Henry Ford style line that you just throw your dishes on and they get cleaned. Love it. It's so industrial, so awesome. And I can like see my friends through the windows and send pictures of them to them being like, haha, eating, found you.
True. Now, I have been stung a little bit by Gamecock Park, but the amount of times it has served me well, I gotta respect the pick, in all honesty. Next up for me, I'm also gonna be staying in the Russell House. I don't get out much. I'm gonna be going for Panda Express, which has been recently dethroned. Maybe it would be my number 3 pick if I knew about the cockroach and the nachos, but Panda Express has never failed me, almost to the point where they know my name, and it's a little bit embarrassing. So that's my number 4 pick, Tyler. What are you gonna go with?
What about the ridiculous wait times at Panda sometimes?
You gotta hit it at the right time.
You do.
If it's empty, you get it fast. I will admit though, sometimes if they get out of orange chicken, you're waiting at least 30 minutes.
I ordered Panda today, they skimped me. That one scoop of honey sesame chicken was more like half a scoop, but I was deeply upset.
Actually, this affected my list a little bit. I got skimped the other night too. It was 9 o'clock, I was looking for a little snack. I walk over to Panda Express. I watched the woman half the orange chicken falls out of the scoop and she just dumps it in. I'm like, where'd the rest of the orange chicken go? Not in my food. It's back in the bowl. And so I was left with just white rice and like 3 pieces of orange chicken. So that's why it was a little bit lower for me, but I also respect the pick.
All right.
But to finish my list
I
out,
have not drafted my next
you didn't
pick.
go
I
for
did not
Oh, that's
go.
right. You talked about pandas. I
Well,
can't see that. That's upside down.
Speaking of chicken, especially in terms of Panda Express, I am going to be taking the establishment with the best chicken on campus, no holds barred. Give me the Colloquium Cafe.
Very fair.
Walk maybe 200 feet from Capstone. I get a gorgeous hot plate of chicken tendies with some slightly soggy fries. What else do you want?
I mean, you cannot beat the chicken tendies from Colloquium Cafe. I mean, that's practically what they're known for at this point. Honestly, a very respectable pick. Maybe if I was living a little closer on that side of campus, it would have been on my list, but it is a little far for me.
It's
so
worth the walk.
worth the walk.
I
I'll
would-
have to try it out more.
Ladies, men, in between, first date, we're going to Colloquium.
That said, to officially finish it out, I'm going to be picking, you know, I gotta go with Einstein Bagels. Einstein Bagels. Now, what you said about Panda.
It's not on the scouting report. I forgot about it.
Now, Panda, like you said, there's some serious weights. That can happen with Einstein, especially if you don't hit it at the right time. But god dang, those have some mean
They are good.
bagels.
Yeah.
A real nice treat, especially when you're feeling down. Head over to Einstein's when you can. Gotta respect it.
The hot chocolate's good.
Hot chocolate
The
too.
lemonade, that's a good pick, especially for round 5. I will say, a couple Tuesdays ago, I did order a Lox bagel at 9 in the morning, and it said 62-minute wait.
Very fair. Sometimes I see on that Russell House TV screen, and it is an hour wait, so that's why it's a little lower on my list. But probably if you hadn't stolen fresh greens, it wouldn't have been on the list at all. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures.
That's what the scouting report does. And speaking of which, for my last pick of the night, I'm gonna take a establishment very near and dear, not to me, but to my roommate. I am going to take Panera Bread. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Before winter break, my roommate comes into the room with a bag from Panera Bread. He looks at me straight-faced and goes, Tyler, 4th Panera Bread bowl of the week. I said, Avery, it's Tuesday. And from then on, I've been sold. Incredible interaction. You know, it was hard. I wanted to rep Capstone, my wonderful abode, and take the Gibbs Court Bistro left off. You know, it's hit or miss. I felt like Panera was the move. I know, wait as well.
You know, see, I have a very similar experience. I did not hear about the cockroach in the nachos, but I do know 3 people that got food poisoning from their mac and cheese. So since then, I've stayed away from Panera Bread, but I can definitely respect the pick. If you were able to get it, hey, and the drinks too?
Yeah.
Just walk over there with a Chick-fil-A cup. They don't mind.
They don't care. I get the caffeinated lemonade all the time. But I do think that is unfortunately the end of the draft. Let us know who you think won. I think it was me because I'm self-absorbed, but it very...
Cafe, it was you.
Thank you, but it very well could have been Sam. I mean, very competitive picks.
Twisted taco, he loses.
I was gonna take it 5th round. You know, I totally forgot about the general store. So good on you.
You know, I blanked after fresh greens. I do apologize for the controversial twisted taco pick. But as you said, that does it for the draft. So
Yeah.
what's up next, Tyler?
Oh, we have a new segment, sort of a little trivia segment, and now we're going to. No, that's not what's next.
That's later, Tyler.
That's not what's next. Now we're going to have a new special guest, our lovely station manager here at SGTV, Miss Caroline Smith.
Woo! Miss Caroline Smith, in on up here from the audience.
You don't have a chair. There's not a chair up here.
So glad to have you with us, Caroline. Now, I've been told tonight you're going to have a special little segment for us, something that you're reviving from our old shows.
I am reviving an old show. Any of you old timers around SGTV like me might remember a little old podcast called Out of Pocket, a show where we talk about non-controversial topics that still always manage to make everybody mad. So, I brought some study materials.
You brought a folder?
I brought a folder because we need images
I
to
had a
go
list
along
on
with
my
this.
phone.
There's a packet?
There's a packet.
packet.
Don't
Wow.
worry, you people at home are gonna get to see these pictures
Oh,
too.
this is gross.
This is
Okay, so first off, we're gonna start this with a little bit of internet history, some lore back from like literally 2016, 2017, when the hot topic, in addition to is water wet, we're not gonna cover that today, is a hot dog a sandwich? Stop it. No, you're wrong. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Now, this is not what we're going to spend all of our time talking about today. But this is where we're starting. Therefore, I present to you the first item in your study packet, the food alignment chart, on which we talk about if you have to be an ingredients purist or a form purist in what is defined as a sandwich. Just to prove to you, a complete purist would tell you that a sandwich is a sandwich, and a complete rebel would tell you that lasagna is a bagel with cream cheese. So now that has about completely derailed, I want to present to you one horrible tweet that I came across somewhat recently, even though it's quite an old tweet from July of 2017. And the tweet says, quote, from @KatieBat on Twitter, "Okay, listen, the sandwich discourse is played out. We need to have a new discussion. Pop-Tarts are a kind of ravioli." To which, @Pop-Tarts US on Twitter replied, "Ravioli is a kind of Pop-Tart."
Ooh, that's good
Can you
branding.
really disagree with the Pop-Tarts Twitter account, though?
Yes,
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
I don't
Just
know. They
because
seem like a
you
reputable
have
source
some
to me.
unpaid intern drastically, diabolically crafting these lies and malicious untruths does not mean that it reflects Pop-Tart as a brand or as a company. And because of that, I gotta say, Katie, get out of here. I can't accept this.
All right, well, just to spare you, we're going to move on a little bit to our
Thank
next
you.
graphic, which is, before we looked at the food alignment chart, now we're going to look specifically at the original sandwich alignment chart posted on Twitter by @Matomic, also in 2017. So
year.
this sandwich alignment chart says a BLT is a sandwich, and like a hardline traditionalist and a complete anarchist would say that a Pop-Tart is a sandwich. Things along the line, a true neutral
No,
says
it's
that a hot
ravioli.
dog is a sandwich. Some other slightly rebellious people might say that wraps and burritos are sandwiches. Some people said that waffles, sandwiching ice cream, that's a sandwich. So it's all about how you feel along the alignment chart.
Okay.
So, obviously, this did not solve the internet discourse we were seeing in the 2010s. This was not enough. So, the lovely @Phosphade on Twitter, @Phosphatide on Twitter, it's a hard name, gave us the most perfect explanatory graphic I've
so
ever seen.
interesting.
The cube rule of food, which defines how you identify different kinds of dishes depending on how many sides are covered in. So, for example, if there's only one side, like the bottom, there's toast. So included in the toast category, we've got things like pizza. We've got things like pumpkin pie, which has a bottom but no
Yeah,
crust on the top,
true.
so it's
Okay.
toast,
Most
right?
uncovered pies.
Okay.
Yeah, most uncovered pies would be
Makes
toast,
sense.
right? So then we get into the classic sandwich, which it has a top, it has a bottom, it's got two sides, they're on
This
opposite
is
ends.
specifically about where the starch is. In the
Dishes based on starch location.
yeah.
On starch location. See,
Okay.
so like a normal sandwich is a sandwich. If you took a piece of like New York pizza and like you sandwiched it, like that is a sandwich because there's
Sure.
starch on both sides.
Okay.
See?
Yeah,
See?
that makes sense.
Okay, an ice cream sandwich is a sandwich
Yeah.
because there's stuff on both sides. Okay. glad we've established that we agree that a sandwich is a sandwich.
True.
We have to clarify that
Good
at
rule.
some
Good
point.
ruling.
That's a ground rule.
I like
The
that.
ground
Appreciate
rule is that a
Ground rule,
sandwich.
Sandwiches are sandwiches.
Sandwiches
Sandwiches
are
are
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
All right, let's move on to what a taco is. A taco is the two sides and the bottom. Included in taco is hot dog,
Yeah. Okay.
hot dog, sub sandwich,
Meatball sandwich?
if the bottom is still intact.
Okay.
Sub sandwich, and a slice of pie that has crust on top and crust on the bottom and crust on the side, like a slice of pie served on a
Sure.
plate. That's
Okay.
a sideways taco.
Is a yeah.
They're
okay.
having, the audience is having a big fight back there. Are you talking about quesadillas? Hang on, quesadillas are sandwiches.
I told you.
Yeah,
Quesadillas are sandwiches.
There was multiple civil cases in the state of New York. In the state of New York, talking about the taxability of a taqueria as a sandwich shop.
Ooh.
A taco.
So this goes all the way to the top.
A taco. in
This
the
isn't
state
just a
of New
Twitter
York
argument
is
anymore.
Not a sandwich.
Didn't this have to
Whoa.
do with like a rent debate? It was based on like two
It was-
restaurants.
It was basically taquerias and sandwich shops.
Yeah.
They are subject to different taxes, and the sandwich shop taxes are less than the taqueria taxes. And
So this is why it's important to establish if a hot dog is a taco or a sandwich.
So I should stop eating tacos because they're more expensive.
They're more
in the state of
expensive.
New York.
in the state of. Oh well, I'm never gonna go there anyway.
He's from Philadelphia, guys. Okay,
Well,
so
actually, we'll uncover that truth later tonight.
we'll get it. Well, there's some
Where am I
lore
from
there.
actually?
Wow.
Let's talk about sushi, which means that it's like on like four sides, but not on the ends. It's covered. So included in
Like a
sushi is like
peninsula.
is pigs in a blanket is sushi, and enchiladas are sushi. I would argue that sushi is cultural and not form-based.
I would agree.
Okay, I would also agree on like say that for like the taco category too.
Yeah, so like a wrap or a burrito of some kind with the sides not covered is sushi.
That's sushi.
Okay.
By the cube rule of food, it's sushi.
okay.
But
I don't think I
okay,
like that metric.
But a wrap with the sides all closed in, that's a calzone.
Okay.
That's because everything is covered.
Okay.
In saying that, we've skipped over the fifth group, which is saying that 5 of the sides are covered, just not the top, calling that a soup/salad with a bread bowl.
So cereal fits in
Or
there.
also, it can be called a quiche based on where you find it on the internet. So like
Okay.
a quiche, also like deep dish pizza.
Okay.
It's also arguable for like a whole pie with no top.
So I have a question, and I don't know if this is going to derail everything, but cereal, the starch.
That's gonna derail everything, and we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Cereal is nachos. Be patient.
All right.
Wait, did you say cereal?
I said cereal. You're not
Wow.
ready for the way
see
this
how you're
argument's gonna go.
Okay.
Okay.
And nachos are a sandwich.
All right. So by the cube rule of food, we talked about Pop-Tarts, right? So Pop-Tarts are a calzone. By this
Ravioli
metric.
is calzone.
Raviolis are
Okay.
little teeny tiny calzones. And also Uncrustables sandwiches are
Makes
calzones,
sense.
or a whole pie that has a top is a calzone. We
Okay.
can take this whole argument
Yeah.
about just pie.
Okay, so a pie with lattice is a calzone.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I would say
Hmm.
so. It could be half bread bowl. You could call that a quiche. All right. Well,
I hate this
now
metric.
that we've established and we've begun to accept the cube rule,
God.
I've given you some auxiliary measures that are not included in the original bread bowl, which is what if there's no sides? No sides.
No starch on the side.
No
No
starch.
starch. This is best defined as a salad. This makes sense to me, except when you think about the fact that the salad definition could therefore be extended to mashed potatoes, steak.
Sure.
I'll say, is meat a salad?
Yeah.
Anything without starch is a
Anything
salad.
without
without
starch
starch
on
is a
it
salad.
is a salad.
Okay.
Okay.
It is. It just is. We've also got soup, which is also classified as a wet salad, unless the soup's in a bread bowl, in which case it's a quiche.
Okay.
Okay.
Wouldn't a bread bowl just be a salad though?
By itself, ooh.
Wow.
Like a bread
If there's
bowl
nothing
full of
inside
rotten
the
potatoes?
starch, could you classify the starch?
It's still
That's
starch
just
though.
a skeleton. Just a shell.
Is it toast?
It's crust.
Sort of like a Mobius strip situation. You can go across the entire side of it without getting to the other side,
Well, I
or
think-
however that
Is a
works.
bag of
It-
potato chips a salad?
Yes.
Yes. I think
There's
in the
no
case
starch.
of a bread bowl, it's
It
no
could be
longer food.
nachos.
It's simply ceramic. It's a bowl if it's a bread bowl.
Are potatoes starch?
We're gonna get to, stop, you keep getting me to nachos earlier, we're not there yet. We still have to talk about cake. Cake is when there's layers of the starch, as in like a Big Mac. Because that's was lasagna is cake. Pancakes is cake.
What if it's just
Is one
Then
pancake
that's
a
toast.
That's okay. I get it. I don't get it.
They're
don't get
following.
I feel like my ears are just ringing continuously.
Well, you are not ready for nachos, which y'all have desperately been trying to get to. This is when there's smaller little, we'll show it on the screen, smaller little bits of starch interspersed throughout it. So like a salad with croutons or Lucky Charms.
There's a blue cube inside a white cube, and I'm really confused.
Don't be confused, just accept it.
I'm scared.
Ramen,
Don't you dare.
nachos.
That's a soup.
Shut up.
That's clearly a soup.
But if there's other things in it,
Okay.
I definitely follow it with the Lucky Charms though. That's
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I will. Okay, I can agree with.
But
on
here
that one.
we bring back the culture debate. If you're going to talk about like ramen or pho, that's clearly soup in sense of that cultural sphere.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
about French onion soup that has croutons in it? Is that nachos? It has soup in the name.
Ooh.
But by Q rule definition, what is it?
It has soup in the name. What about bread soup or milk toast?
All good. Wow. Jacob out
We're
here
getting
with the
it
food knowledge.
deep as heck. All right, so I think we've suffered enough with this. So to finish it out, I will leave this horrible, horrible conversation with this also very terrible thing that I found on r/shower thoughts. Quote, a vanilla soy latte is a type of 3-bean soup.
Yes.
With that, I rest my case.
That's legitimately true.
Coffee is bean water, so I can agree with that.
All right.
That's fair.
Caroline, I hate everything you've said on this stage.
You're
Please get
welcome.
off of it. Thank you very much for writing this. And this past Valentine's Day, some of our entertainment crew members traveled to 5 Points to hammer students with questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Hammered with Questions, Valentine's edition.
Oh boy, it's a good one.
I'm Erin.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Grace. And you're watching
Hammered with Questions!
The bar is good, the beer's cold, the girls are hot. That's all I need.
But if you do that, you're a piece of
I brush my teeth with Coke.
As you can tell, I am so gay.
Hey, yo, Miss Conklin, if you seeing this, hit me up.
All right, so what is your worst date story?
My worst first date was at Colloquium, the Carolina Dining Hall.
The dining hall? Did he use his meal plan dollars on you?
He did!
So my date got arrested by the Cuban authority because she was trafficking illegal Cuban cigars out of Havana, Cuba. And so I started talking to her about it, and then my dad ended up calling me. I got through the basically the U.S. State Department, and they found out, and then I never talked to her again. She was carried off by essentially the people that brought the sat phone to me.
Is this during the date?
This was during the date, yeah.
Mine was my first date with the guy, and he watched me eat the whole time and didn't order anything. And then he got road rage on the way driving back to the car, and he ripped his visor off his car. And I just slowly just turned towards the window, like looked out the whole rest of the ride.
He fully ripped the visor off.
And I said,
And who is your celebrity crush?
Ryan Gosling! Ryan Gosling! Oh, Matthew McConaughey! Yeah! But in his 20s and 30s.
No, even now it's funny.
Austin Butler! Holy that man is fine. Patrick Swayze from Dirty Dancing! Yes!
Rihanna.
Now
with that, hey, ASAP Rocky, you better hold your girl tight. You better hold her tight.
Would you date a teacher for a good grade?
I already get good grades, so I don't need to date a teacher. And old men like that freak me out, so no.
What about you?
Yeah, what she said, but yes.
Yeah. I would date a teacher without the grade involved. Are they're cool. No, none in South Carolina. I haven't found one yet. But I'm not opposed.
Where are you from?
Philadelphia.
Any out there?
What? Any out there in Philadelphia? Yeah, high school English teacher for sure. Miss Byrne. Shout out Miss Byrne.
Yeah, I done dated, look. Nah, we ain't gonna put our business out there, but I done dated a teacher for a good grade.
Your name drop?
Nah, I dropped the draw, but I ain't gonna drop the names. I ain't dropping no names. Hey, look, you know who you is. You know exactly who you is.
Like and subscribe to SGTV. Thank you.
Welcome back. Joining me now once again is our controversial guest, Caroline Smith, but also one of our very own producers, Alex Tetor. Welcome on, Alex. Now, those of us in SGTV, at least in exec, know that we're pretty big puppet history fans. It is always on in the office. We're always watching the music videos or the actual videos themselves. Therefore, y'all should be weird history masters at this point.
Something like that.
Because of that, we're going to be having a little competition today to see who can guess about these weird history facts correctly. Now, much like puppet history itself, you will be given its multiple choice. You will say what answer you think it is. Based off you get it correct or not, you get a point. All right.
Awesome.
That said, on to our first question. Now, the year was 1942, and World War II was well on its way with many fighting forces, one of them being the Polish Army. A section of that army, named Anders' Army, found themselves in Iran with several thousand Polish refugees after the Soviet invasion. The 3 months spent there were routine aside from the fact that they picked up a very famous soldier, one who would rise to the rank of corporal in the Polish army and acclimate to their culture, drinking, smoking, and wrestling in their downtime. He served in one battle, the Battle of Monte Cassino, a part of the Italian campaign, and for his service there at that battle, he was given the rank of corporal. But what made this soldier so famous? Maybe it's because this soldier was not human, but an animal inducted into the Polish army.
That's so Polish.
What species was this animal? A raven, B, a bear, C, a dog, or D, a pig?
It was a bear.
It was a bear.
You are both correct. That is both a point for Caroline and Alex. Seems that y'all have been learning a lot. Now, neck and neck. Oh, I forgot to post it. Yes, it is Corporal Wojtek, who later retired to a peaceful life in the Edinburgh Zoo.
Cigarettes.
He
ate them?
cigarettes,
He didn't smoke them, he just ate them?
He ate cigarettes, drank beer, all that kind of good stuff.
Got a good life.
You like those cigarettes raw?
Next up, the space race was an era that defined the latter half of the 20th century, with the communist Soviet Union going head-to-head with the newly established superpower of the Democratic United States of America. With it being the space race, there were surely some interesting projects, one of them called Project Orion, a study conducted by the U.S. Air Force to put America ahead. Eventually, the project was shut down due to many reasons, but one above the rest. Why was Project Orion shut down? A. Project Orion utilized nuclear explosions to shoot a rocket through space. The project leader, Dennis McCarthy, was revealed to be a renowned communist super spy attempting to steal data for the Soviets. C. Most of Project Orion's staff were reassigned after a workplace accident that resulted in the death of 23 scientists. The facility where Project Orion was being constructed became infested with thousands of bees and other insects attracted to unique liquid used for fuel.
It's gotta be insects. That's just too unique. There's no other option.
I was thinking it's gotta be that.
All right. Answer. Project Orion was a study conducted to test the feasibility of using nuclear explosions to propel through space. The project was canceled after it was generally agreed upon that blowing up nuclear bombs in space was a bad idea.
It's pretty badass, though.
A pretty cool idea. It would have...
Leave him out of this.
We could have had a space fleet in the 1950s. That's all I'm saying. What did we lose? Probably cancer from fallout radiation. In the days of the 1300s, most of Italy was separated into city-states. They often had squabbles, both armed and unarmed. In 1325, there was a conflict between two city-states, Bologna and Modena, which was part of a greater ongoing conflict. However, this conflict has been categorized as its own war. A common myth about the war is that it was started over a stolen object. What was that stolen object? A rock, B, an extravagant hairbrush, C, a bucket, or D, a wand?
A rock.
A bucket.
A bucket.
No explanation needed. Just a
The
bucket.
War of the Bucket, 1 point to Alex, was in fact caused by the capturing of a castle. However, there was a common myth that the war was started over a stolen bucket, hence the name. In actuality, the bucket was stolen as a trophy after the war.
I'd fight somebody over a bucket too. There's nothing quite like a nice bucket.
Hey, one thing about us
Fair
Italians,
enough.
we'll fight you over
Like
a
those
bucket.
big orange Home Depot buckets?
Yeah,
I'd go to war for one of those.
Historically, it
Those
was
are
a
so
big
quality.
orange Home Depot bucket.
Yeah,
so
how
that's-
big was the bucket?
It was probably like a wooden pail.
Was it jewel encrusted?
No, it was just a bucket. Anyway,
Okay.
The founding fathers are a staple of American culture. Many of them were multi-talented and also bad individuals, such as profound writers or mathematicians. One of them spent many years in France as a diplomat, both during and after the Revolution. Paris, being a cosmopolitan city, led to some weird activities among the higher life. This founding father spent mornings in his Parisian home, unclothed, and in the night spent his time in lavish French parties, where reportedly the French women couldn't get enough of him and his American novelty. Evidence strongly suggests that this father joined the Hellfire Club, an organization dedicated to recreating Roman festivities of the past. So, which founding father was more than likely in a dark arts and fornication club?
Benjamin Franklin.
That is correct. Caroline, you get the point. We're back tied. This is the tiebreaker because she said it out loud really fast. I guess.
Are we racing? Is that the rules now?
I don't know. She pays
okay.
me, so
This is
hey.
I am his boss.
Hey, neck and neck. Fifth question. 2 points each.
I want that.
Long before the Catholic Church split as a result of Martin Luther, they had plenty of issues and even a major split. This event was called the Western Schism, as the Catholic Church was separated from 1348 to 1417. It was caused by bishops in multiple Italian territories who claimed to be the true pope. And even more were added as the schism continued. The issue was instigated further by the Council of Pisa in 1409, where it was declared that the arguing popes were illegitimate and they declared another pope legitimate. Finally, it resolved a few years later in the Council of Constance. Popes excommunicated and renounced other popes, finally resulting in an entirely different pope being elected. That said, how many popes were pope at the same time?
Would you like to yell this one out too? 'Cause I have no idea. I have genuinely no idea.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, what are the
A,
answers?
3 popes. B, 4 popes. C, 5 popes. Or D, 8 popes.
4.
8. Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. All right. Wait, what did you say?
4.
4, you said?
8.
I will say those 2 answers are incorrect, but to have a true victor today, you are left with 3 or 5.
3.
5.
The Western Schism is an event defined by the election of 2 popes residing in Rome and Avignon, followed by the later election of a pope at the Council of Pisa in 1409, resulting in a grand total of 3 popes. Caroline, you are our history master. Our first winner of this quiz show. You will be presented of the History Master Cup. Maybe you could come back to fight for it, but until then,
gonna go on my
you
desk.
are the History Master. Thank you
Where
both.
did you get this?
Preston, Residential
What is
College.
it? What is it?
There was some event that the gardening club put on,
What is it?
and they had some sort of dish in there.
You saw it?
Now
Okay.
there's.
This is painter's
hey,
tape.
It is painter's tape and Sharpie. That
Wow.
said, that's all I've got for you this time. Now, Tyler, I hear you have a special shout out for us from your home state.
That's right, Sam. Tonight's episode of Florida Man of the Week features A man from my home state, that's right, even though I do rep Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I was born in the great sunshine state of Florida. And believe it or not, we've actually got a report from CBS News Miami, published on February 26, 2019. The headline reads, quote, "Police arrest man for throwing cookie at live-in girlfriend."
Live-in girlfriend.
End quote. That's right, that means that she lived with him.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, even just from a cursory glance, this report reeks of the Everglades. You know that if you spent any time in Florida.
And pythons.
Okay. 4 years ago today, a Mr. Wade Allen Smith of Zephyr Hills, Florida, was arrested on a domestic battery charge for, you guessed it, hurling a piece of baked dough at his romance partner like this. You heard me correctly. Zephyr Hills, the same city that produces gas station caliber bottled water, is apparently also the site for treat-induced harm. I preferably think that Zephyr Hills is the best bottled water, but that is because I am trash. Police described the incident as, quote, "battery by cookie," with Smith's girlfriend reporting to authorities that this sweet collided with her head so hard that it left a red mark on the forehead. Incredible. Pasco County deputies then stated that Smith openly admitted to non-consensually throwing the cookie at her after being taken into custody. What do you think about that one, Sammy?
You know, I think consent is very important, and if you're ever going to throw a cookie at your significant other, you should ask beforehand. That said, I think that's going to start wrapping everything up. If everybody would like to join us
full
tonight,
house here at the desk.
Full house, guys.
Come on in.
What a fantastic show. Had a completely awesome night. Great first episode. Happy history, people. Now that about wraps up things for this week's edition of the Carolina Late Show.
For more SGTV content, please be sure to check out the other videos on our YouTube channel and subscribe for weekly uploads.
From all of us here at SGTV, we wish you a great night. Carolina forever to thee.
Thank you. Bye. Good night, Carolina. God, that was awful.